Time flies, nothing's off the table since my last regeneration. I'm a bit unstable. Bombast, I need to prove my mettle, so I'm dragging Peri off to someplace dreadful. It's Jaconda, or Telos, or Shoreditch, or this place.
Hello and welcome to the quick guide to Big Finish Classic Who, Peri Part 3. In case you missed my earlier videos, I'm going by companions, because for most classic Doctors, Big Finish didn't have series as, and the stories tended to jump around each Doctor's timeline, and as far as I can tell, there's no official, authoritative, agreed upon timeline for adventures. So I separate them out by companion. Hopefully it'll make things easier for everyone, and make it harder for me to miss any stories. Last time, Peri and Six met an unusually high concentration of sympathetic dictators, and this theme will continue with our first story, The Widow's Assassin, where Peri will be the sympathetic dictator.
What a twist!
But first, at some point after Plight of the Pimpernel, side note, but in the second Peri video, a fantastic commenter called Mr. Dr. Gilmore left an excellent argument for why Plight of the Pimpernel should be considered part of the upcoming older Peri arc, and not the tail end of the younger Peri arc. I'm not going with it because I've already covered it and I can't change history yet, but I encourage you all to read the comment and be impressed. Anyway, at some point after the Plight of the Pimpernel, we had the events of the trial of the Time Lord on TV, as the Doctor apparently went evil and betrayed Peri to the villains. But it might not have happened.
It was never like that!
How can you be certain? You have no clear memory of the incident. And as we all know, the Matrix never lies.
We don't actually know what really happened in Mind Warp. Even Six doesn't know. The Time Lords might, but they aren't talking. Anyway, Peri was killed as the evil Lord Kiv's mind was implanted into her body, destroying her mind.
Welcome to your new body. I wish you could have found a more attractive one.
But again, that might not have happened. And then Lord Kiv and Peri's body was gunned down by Brian Blessed.
I am the Lord and Master!
But guess what? That might not have happened. And then Peri was rescued by Brian Blessed after all.
Broomnick.
And they got married and she became his warrior queen, but that might not have happened.
Everybody got that?
She also might have gone to Earth with Brian Blessed and become his wrestling manager. Basically, Mind Warp, Peri's last TV story, was a clusterfuck. Peri's fate was retconned in universe and in real life separately, and as a result we have multiple different possible fates for her. Nev Fountain, Nicola Bryant's partner and one of the best Who writers of all time, decided to deal with it once and for all, resulting in Peri and the Piscon Paradox. And it is spectacular. One of the best Who stories ever written, and I'll be talking about it in my 5 in Peri video. But it explained that, thanks to Time Lord shenanigans, basically they went back and tried to retcon her death multiple times, and as a result, there's at least 7 different versions of her out there. At least 2 of these are on Earth and in the modern day, and they've not all been accounted for. So she could easily turn up literally anywhere in New Who without damaging continuity. Which is clearly why they've avoided using her and instead decided to stab continuity in the back by having Mel suddenly be back on Earth instead. If it sounds like I'm bitter, it's because I am. Anyway, this is The Widow's Assassin, and it's about one of those Peris. This version was saved by Brian Blessed before Kiv stole her body, and returns with him to his world to become his warrior queen.
Broomnick.
The Doctor, fresh from losing his companion Flip, comes to visit, and Peri, understandably angry, has him jailed for betraying her to Kiv, almost getting her killed and leaving her behind on Thoros Beta, where she was saved by Brian Blessed.
Has he gone?
Yes. You can come out now.
Oh, sorry. I've never hidden under a wedding dress before, but it was bound to happen eventually. Hello, Peri.
Hello, Doctor.
I, appear not to have been invited to your wedding.
No, you weren't.
Oh, I see. Well, that explains it. Well, as you say, you're very busy. I'm not sure I should burden you with...
Don't tell me. You've left another of your companions for dead, and you came to persuade me to rejoin you in your travels because you felt a bit lonely?
Oi, here goes nothing. India or bus, Doctor.
Flip!
I can see in your eyes that I'm in the ballpark.
Not quite.
I bet you thought you could dip into my life again, a quick spin around the galaxy, and get me home for the cutting of the cake.
I do understand how you feel, Peri, but...
Explain to me how I feel, Doctor. Please do.
Anyway, as Queen, she jails the Doctor, expecting him to escape and leave in the TARDIS. But he stays put. Brian Blessed is assassinated shortly after his wedding to Peri, and he stays put. Peri becomes a renowned ruler on a mission of galactic peace, and he stays put. For 5 long years, he stays as serious intrigues develop. You see, Peri's embroiled in a marriage plot. Princess Durrani of Herne is to marry, and whoever gets that hand will increase their power base greatly, so local galactic warlords and rulers vie for it. We've got an incredible collection of... I realise there's not really a visual here, but I can only describe them as Muppets. Listen to the voices and tell me you can't imagine this as a Jim Henson production. We have the mind parasite hunting space anemone, Prince Most Deepest All Yellow.
I am the patron of the Royal Society for the Protection of Alien Mind Parasites.
What? You actually want to save that thing?
No. I want to neutralize it with this gun and put it on my wall.
How is that protecting it?
Do not begin to comprehend the ways of the Royal Society for the Protection of Alien Mind Parasites.
The bat-like Reverend Flittimus, who defends all faiths with equal fervour, so he regularly converts.
Oh, they're very volatile, aren't they?
You should see them at weekends. I'm amazed they haven't vaporized each other's empires by now.
I have God on my side! Which God am I worshipping today, Grass? Oh, today, Zorn the Vengeful. Oh, God! One of the violent ones! Oh.
If you need him to do something that's against his religion, just wait a while. There's also the bloodthirsty duelist, Baron Terratrak.
Look over there. Here's Baron Terratrak.
Come, Tocrodi! Let us drink until we argue with the furniture and find ourselves unable to count our own feet.
You talk like a girl, Baron. Let us drink until we argue with our feet and use each other as furniture.
And Prince Harcross, the ever-patient, who's obsessed with Peri.
Prince Harcross the Ever-Patient?
Harcross is not an empire builder, but he's developed a thing for Queen Peri. Apparently, if you go to his castle, there are busts of her everywhere.
I see. Well, where are you? It's a bit dark in here.
Over here, chained to the wall.
Oh, so you are. Are you all right?
Oh, yes. I expect they'll let me out soon. I am royalty, you know.
Well, in which case, may I ask why you're in here?
Well, they said I broke the terms of my intergalactic restraining order. They said I was hiding under Queen Peri's bed. I wasn't, you know. I was just examining the room for booby traps.
Ah, Prince Harcross the Ever-Patient, I presume?
You've heard of me.
Oh, Queen Peri did mention you.
Anyway, Peri's there as an official impartial observer until she's murdered. Poisoned with a slow-acting poison. So the Doctor has to investigate her soon-to-be death, when he's not being blamed for it himself.
Sir?
Drag the Doctor below and lock him up!
Sorry about this, Doctor. I'm sure it's all a misunderstanding.
Wish I had your optimism, Guard One.
Don't be too gentle about it!
I'm going to have to punch you in the stomach now, Doctor, if that's all right.
Oh, be my guest.
Sorry about that. Protocol.
I wouldn't worry. I've had worse.
Go!
This might sound like I'm spoiling a lot, and I sort of am, but I'm also really not. This just goes and goes and goes. All this is part 1 stuff, and there's 4 parts. And the whole thing is a deranged masterpiece. This is the story that really crystallized who Nev Fountain is among Big Finish writers. He's the Douglas Adams, but full of much more pathos. He writes incredibly funny, occasionally heartbreaking, complicated and deeply imaginative works of art. All about Peri, usually. This guy should be working on the TV show, but frankly, he'd probably be like Sting and Baron Munchausen.
The officer who risked his life by single-handedly destroying 6 enemy cannon.
I only did my best, sir.
He destroyed the morale of the other writers by being too good.
Have him executed at once.
Yes, sir. Come along.
This sort of behavior is demoralizing for the ordinary soldiers and citizens who are trying to lead normal, simple, unexceptional lives.
So what can you expect from this? Fun characters such as Wolsey, the head of Peri's guards, who was turned into a sheep, for the pun I assume.
He was always open-minded when it came to new technology, open-minded enough to authorise the use of Crozier's research to augment me into a sheep.
Yes, I'm not sure why you were made into a sheep, Wolsey.
I've got 4 stomachs now.
Huh?
Good for a policeman. When I get a gut feeling, I really get a gut feeling.
Oh.
We've got murder, body swapping, whole sections of the story set inside people's minds, sudden reveals, secret identities, and in one of the all-time great Doctor bits, we get the Doctor solving a case his way. When he's left to rot in jail by Peri and stays put, he kinda doesn't. He does a river song and breaks out regularly, taking the TARDIS back in time and creating a fictional persona, spending years building a life as a separate character, ingratiating himself into society, and getting brought into the court, just so he can get an angle on the crime.
But my 4 years as his friend brought me to the Great Hall of Herne, where I saw myself in the future.
Sorry?
He means he saw himself in the future sitting with me.
Exactly. But not just that future version of me.
Then he does it all again with another persona, allowing him to triangulate the scene and solve the crime. Coming back to his cell to do his planning, deductions and stuff. It's just breathtakingly good.
Just how long did all this take?
4 years as de Crotty and 4 years as Drast. A few years in my cell, only about a decade. Or just a lazy Sunday afternoon to a Time Lord.
And maybe the best bit, and this is a big spoiler, but I need to tell you this, it is so elegant. The Doctor saves Peri's life after she gets poisoned by swapping minds with her.
Doctor? Oh my God, my voice, that's not my voice. That's the Doctor's voice.
Back with us, are you, Peri?
Oh, is that me? Oh, Doctor, what have you done now?
I must say, you're looking awfully handsome today.
Enough with the jokes. Oh, come on, Doctor, we can't just lie around wearing each other's bodies all day.
No.
In the TV show, the Caves of Androzani was Peri's second appearance, so her and Five had just met, and he still sacrificed his life to save her after she got poisoned. And then in Mind Warp, she died, one of her died, via mind swap because the Doctor had abandoned her. Fountain has managed to unite Peri's start on TV with her end on TV into a single thing, while reinforcing that Six has evolved over the years. Because almost his first action after Five died was to attack her. Now he sacrifices not just one, but all of his lives for her after they meet for the second time. Showing that however important Peri was to Five, she is so much more important to Six.
It's no good. My legs have gone. Peri, you'll have to do it.
Do what?
Close the doors for a start. I could use a little privacy.
Why? You're not going to, regenerate?
Don't be ridiculous. I'm in a human body. Yours.
Well, then, shouldn't we, swap our bodies back?
Too late for that.
Obviously, the Doctor doesn't die in her body, but I kinda want Big Finish to use Peri and the Piscon paradox to introduce yet another Peri, who's in the Doctor's body, from a timeline where he did die in hers. And then she learned to fly the TARDIS, eventually regenerated into a new body that looks just like her own, and had adventures. It wouldn't damage continuity in the slightest. Oh, and about Androzani being only her second appearance, I'm talking about the perception of her adventures as a TV-only viewer. If you like the audios, and, you probably do, or why are you listening to this, you'll be glad to hear that Peri and Five had a load of adventures before Androzani, and it's one of the strongest runs that Big Finish has done, so look forward to me gushing about that in a future video. Anyway, I know this sounds like I've spoiled everything, even though I said I didn't want to, but trust me, I really didn't. More happens in this story than either a Shurigatwa series is. Whatever you think is going on for most of this, it is not. I implore you, give it a listen. Anyway, this is an effing masterpiece. No one has done more effort to flesh Peri out than Nev Fountain. When he's scripting, she sings.
There's no door, The wall around us is a complete circle, a hollow circle.
What did you just say?
What?
A hollow circle.
What?
Is that what you said?
I didn't say that.
Yes, you did.
I didn't.
Hollow. That's an odd word to describe a wall. That's a reference to something. The Doctor loves his quotes and his references. He never says anything without good reason. What else is hollow?
Nothing.
Hollow laugh, a victory. No. This is hollow. Right here.
What?
Shiny gold spiky edges. This is a crown. A hollow crown. Of course. It's Shakespeare.
What?
He always drags out the Shakespeare.
No, it's not.
Of course it is.
It isn't.
And this curly yellow grass we've been wading through, it's hair. Blonde hair. And as for that noise, it's breathing. No, it's not. It's snoring. The Doctor's not conscious. You're his subconscious.
I forgot you were one of the educated ones. Oh, why couldn't you have been Jamie?
Plus, like I said, this is one of the best Who stories ever written in any medium. I strongly suggest you buy a copy. And so begins older Peri's time in the TARDIS, a time that's been weirdly short in Big Finish thus far, because for some reason they released 3 older Peri stories in the main range, the original Doctor Who range in Big Finish back in 2014, and then they dropped it until the range ended in 2021. And since then, there have been 2 box sets, but you can easily miss that they're older Peri. It's not like she's an eye patch or a metal arm. She's just more worldly, much more cynical, and much less of a junior partner to sex. Of course, we might have also seen this older Peri in Tales of the TARDIS and the Eternal Mystery, seeing as we don't know when or how she leaves the TARDIS again. Her marrying Brian Blessed, becoming his queen, and visiting his tomb in Krontep does line up with the Widow's assassin. But anyway, enough complication. Time for Six and older Peri and Masters of Earth. Six and Peri's first trip together again is low-key, unshowy, but really good. The TARDIS lands in Scotland during the Dalek occupation of the 22nd century, about a year before the first Doctor helps liberate the planet.
Do you think any Daleks escaped?
Think that, my dear, impossible. There's something new for you, Tyler. Huh? A volcanic eruption in England.
Naturally, they lose the TARDIS, and Peri is taken away by the Daleks as a slave, all typical. But the big twist is that the Doctor has to keep his head down and not save the day, because that's one's job. And he can't risk being captured, because if the Daleks get access to his memories, which they can do, they'll know about one and be able to stop him. And he's not only got himself and Peri to worry about, but a whole squad of red shirts.
So we're staying with this lot? Why?
Because I think they might need our help to find safe passage to the Orkneys.
Including an antisocial bully and a future rebel leader, instrumental to the anti-Dalek struggle.
I hear you know a lot about them, Doctor, the Daleks. Regular grudge match you've got going.
Grudge? Well, why would anyone not have a grudge against the Daleks, Miss...
Oh, sorry, we didn't have time for the social niceties. Moira Brodie.
You're kidding, right?
The Moira Brodie. Well, well, well.
Seems I'm more famous than I thought.
Why, are you some kind of celebrity?
She's with the Resistance.
I was, aye.
She's more important than anyone, because nothing is more important than continuity. I say only half joking.
If I were to be captured, and if the Daleks were to examine my memories, well, promise me you won't let that happen.
How?
Peri.
You don't mean... No!
The story is a tense, well-written chase across the desolation of the Highlands to a sanctuary. And there's more than just Daleks out there. There's Robo-Men, humans conditioned to be Dalek slaves, Slithers, a monster from Skaro, and worst of all, Varga plants. Varga are basically Triffids, walking plants who are merciless predators. But they don't just kill you. If they scratch you, you start to become one. And we get a front row seat to the process.
The toxin is working its way through her system. The Varga is taking her over.
Kill! Kill!
Kill! Kill! Kill! Kill!
kill you all.
Part 4 is a slightly different beast, though. There's a reason. I'm not going into details. I'd really rather not spoil things. It kind of goes off the rails in a mostly good way. The older Peri is a nice change. She's less argumentative with the Doctor, but she's really got his number. Young Peri's fights with Six were a blunderbuss. Older Peri is a sniper rifle.
You are an unknown element!
Always.
Who are you?
Oh, you'll know soon enough.
You will identify.
You knew they'd do that, didn't you?
I had an inkling.
Keeping your hands nice and clean.
I had to do something.
That's all right, because nothing's changed. Least of all you.
Older Peri is much more world-weary too. She had a terrible time in Crontap. She saw quite a lot of death. She's much less naive. In short, she did a lot of growing up in those years. Of course, Six has changed a lot too. Remember, this is post-Evelyn, post-Charlie, and post-Flap. Six and Peri were friendly before she left, but Six was still yelling a lot. Evelyn especially house-trained him. Part of the glorious friction between Six and Peri is that she's expecting the bombastic Six that she remembers, and he's not really that anymore.
You're my friend, Peri Brown. You always have been, even when I've let you down. I know I've let you down before, Peri Brown, but I promise I won't ever fail you again.
Anyway, this is a very solid recommendation. Older Peri next turned up in the Rani Elite, which brought Renegade Time Lord, the Rani, to big finish. Kate O'Mara, who played her on TV, was due to reprise the role, but she died during pre-production. She gave her blessing to recast the role, though. Plus it helps that she's a Time Lord. The new Rani, who you've already met if you see my video about Six and Constance, is played by Siobhan Redmond, a prolific Scottish actor, who I mostly remember verbally abusing a young Alan Cumming in The High Life.
So any funny business from you, and you can wave bye-bye to your aspirations of purser promotion. Get it?
Got it.
Good. You will never work in in-flight catering ever again. And, by the way, Veruca's... I know what happened. You burnt your arse.
Did you tell her?
Aye. And naff Nancy Numpties are naff Nancy Numpties. You heard.
Hilariously, when the photos of Redmond's Rani were taken, they used a potato peeler as her sonic screwdriver-looking device, and then they photoshopped that. Never change, Doctor Who. Never change. The Rani Elite began as an unproduced concept for a 7th Doctor story intended for the 28th series. Yes, 28th. Classic Who liked to plan ahead. It's also possible that they were working around O'Mara's very busy schedule. She was massive in the 80s. I'm honestly not sure why this wasn't a lost story. Lost Stories are a set of Big Finish releases of Who stories, originally intended for TV but never produced. I'll be talking about them in the next couple of videos. Anyway, they threw in a cheeky reference to its origins by having the Rani expect 7, not 6.
Doctor!
Peri, are you all right?
Oh, yeah. Just happy to be reunited with our old friend with the new face and locked up in this poky little office.
Yes, does appear to be suffering from a dearth of interior design features. I do think you might have gone to a bit more trouble when you selected somewhere to incarcerate us, Rani. I mean, one desk and a novelty glass paperweight?
Well, if you will turn up a whole day early for your award... A whole incarnation early, come to that. I was expecting the little chap with the hat and the umbrella and the...
La. No idea what you're talking about.
Obviously.
Anyway, the Rani's ensconced herself in a space university and is doing evil, sciencey things to it. The same space university has decided to give the Doctor an honorary doctorate in moral philosophy.
Moral philosophy? What's that?
Well, I'm not quite sure, actually. But I'm certain it's well-deserved.
Which, let's just say, isn't a coincidence. The Rani's plot is pretty typical Rani stuff, extracting the minds of students, storing them as data in a computer, and downloading the university's elderly benefactors into the young bodies. Because that's the sort of thing she does.
It's a method for moving experiential information from one organic cerebellum to another.
Oh, thanks. Big help.
Except you're not just adding memories to a conscious mind, are you? You're wiping the brain clean and then installing a whole new personality.
I'm doing far more than that, Doctor.
New bodies for old minds, is that it?
What we have here is Big Finish taking an 80s Who concept, one that didn't get any further than a concept, and doing its own thing with that. To compare this directly to the Lost Stories, they aim to recreate the era that they came from, down to the acting, sound effects, and also sometimes, alas, the writing. But this is typical Big Finish. And because this is 80s Who ideas via Big Finish script and execution, it's equal parts ridiculous and well written. I have the feeling that if the TV version had gone ahead, it'd be far worse than this.
Sit down, Doctor, next to Professor Baxton.
For the last time, Rani.
Sit down, or watch me laser Peri Brown's head from her shoulders.
You would not.
Be quiet, Countess. The brain won't be damaged. I can retrieve your scintillating personality afterwards.
But I'd feel it. It would hurt.
Very probably. But I know the Doctor well enough to know he's still calculating that he can restore his friend's mind to her body. And he knows me well enough to know that I'm not bluffing.
But at the same time, we'd have 2 more series as a classic Who, so I think it'd be worth that. This is a much smaller scale story than you might expect. It all takes place in the campus, probably a holdover from the original concept. Not that it's inconsequential, it's just geographically small. Though they go into cyberspace for a bit, which was nice.
Does that mean I'm cooked?
Your mind is linked to the Overseer program. Professor Baxton's is being detached.
Not as detached as you seem to be.
You should be able to see the datascape now. Let me adjust the wave receptors, and I'll hear what you think of it, literally. You might be in time to catch the dying thoughts of your friend Peri before she becomes just so much data. But I wouldn't bet on it.
Is that true? Is there nothing left of you? Are you all just data within the system now?
Peri's character development is really good here, not just wary of Six, but seeing parallels to what's going on with the bad stuff that happened to her previously, and getting thoroughly sick of that.
I see you brought the motley fool with you.
Sadly.
Oh, I wouldn't stand for that if I were you, Peri.
She won't have to stand for it. Put her on the operating couch.
And there. No way.
Hold still.
I've got her.
What are you doing to her? Rani, leave the girl. Plainly, it's me you want.
Vice-Chancellor, if he says another word, shoot him again.
What?
With pleasure.
The boy Miklev was concussed. Performing the Sidelian procedure on a concussed brain would be a waste of time. No, Miss Brown will have to serve as a substitute.
For Miklev?
No.
Obviously. Why, is that a problem?
No. She'll make a very suitable substitute.
Doctor, you promised this would never happen again.
It's all right, Peri. It'll be all right. I always keep my promises.
Enough. Bring him.
This way, if you please, Doctor. Or even if you don't.
Oh, charming. Trust me, Peri.
Doctor!
Oh, and Miss Brown.
What?
It won't be all right.
The parallels with what happened in Trial of a Time Lord, where she was captured, betrayed, and died, are really obvious. While they continued Six and older Peri in the box sets, I'm still kind of sad because this trilogy really felt like it was leading to some sort of a head. Maybe her leaving again. But it's like they forgot in the 10 or so years before they brought older Peri back. And in the box set, that whole feel is gone. It's a bit more generic. It's fine, it's just missing something special. Anyway, I liked Siobhan Redmond as the Rani. She's colder, less glam, more nonchalant. But the Rani's a character who's yet to be badly cast. She's just been badly written a lot. Though, to be fair, never on Big Finish. To date, Redmond's only made her 2 appearances, this and Planet of the Rani. A fun detail here is how this fits into continuity. This Rani is older than the O'Mara one, so she recognises Six on sight, and towards the end, she mocks Six for revenge, which she's already had because a younger Rani killed Six in Time in the Rani.
Goodbye, Doctor. This little encounter has only made the memory of what I'll one day do to your current incarnation all the more enjoyable.
What's she mean, memory?
It means she's met me in my future, but her past.
Or at least she thinks she did. It's a bit more complicated than that. But I'll use a graph to explain it when I cover the last adventure. The first Peri and Six box set was the very well named The Sixth Doctor and Peri Adventures Volume 1, continuing the adventures of older Peri and Six. It's 4 two-part stories. That's pretty unusual. Most of these box sets have 3 two-part stories or 2 3-part stories. This is unusually big, probably because it's the first. And it opens up with the Headless Ones, not to be mistaken for the Mindless Ones, which is a sixter with Mel and Hebe. The Headless Ones is a Victorian travelogue through darkest Africa. Not completely an audio drama, part of it's a journal of an explorer that Six and Peri meet up with.
At first light, we departed. The 4 of us with Brooks, Oliver's long-serving estate manager, and 4 of his loyal men, expert trackers and hunters all. We set off inland, tracing the route my father had drawn. The rest of our company remained behind to take the menagerie of animals back to port.
Anyway, the TARDIS is crippled by a signal but manages to land near its origin site. And so Six and Peri join it with explorers to find what caused that.
What are you? A Morris dancer?
Well, if there's a village green with a maypole hereabouts, I could cut a caper for you.
And then switch it off so they can leave. The explorers are searching for the Blemier, a mythical species of human that would turn up in travellers' tales and medieval artwork. They have hairy bodies, long arms, and no head. Their faces are in the middle of their chests.
Look at the illustrations. This one, in particular.
A guy with a face in his chest and no head. Blem something.
The Blemies. The ancient Greeks called them the Acephaloi, the headless ones.
And according to legend, they eat people.
They're also referred to as the anthropophagi.
Latin for cannibal.
And of the cannibals that each other eat, the anthropophagi, and men whose heads do grow beneath their shoulders. Othello.
And unfortunately for them, one of the leaders of the British expedition wants to sick them a travelling zoo and kickstart colonialism New Game Plus.
I'm part of an organisation preparing a Wild Africa show which will debut at the Queen's Diamond Jubilee. It will feature rituals and displays from the Dark Continent with reenactments of the Battle of Blood River and the Siege of Rorke's Drift. Our intent is then to take the show on tour.
Intriguing, if outre. But what does the discovery of a lost tribe gain for you?
Who can say? I'm in need of additional attractions. For the Diamond Jubilee, our show has been granted the honour of a command performance. The culmination of the show will be a volley of arrows delivered by native bowmen. That volley shall save the Empire from its atrophy.
What a lunatic idea. Well, how do you propose to persuade them to do that?
They're simple people, easily cowed.
I think you will find that they are vastly more sophisticated and intelligent than some round here. And how does getting rid of Victoria achieve your goals?
Oh, we shall have a new cause.
A new cause? Oh, revenge for the murder of the Empress. By further incursions into Africa, yes?
More land, more power, more wealth.
This is a little bit odd. For most of it, it's nearly a pure historical. Now, usually I love them, but a pure historical about Victorians in tribal Africa has to be scripted incredibly carefully. And this kind of feels a little too accurate to the style that they were emulating. You know, the colonial Victorian travelogue. The Africans they meet are pretty stereotypical.
They spoke not a word, and for the remainder of the day escorted us until their village came into view. A collection of huts scattered through a broad clearing. Their people pointed and ran as they saw us. We were led to the largest of the dwellings. Beautifully accoutred elders were gathered at the entrance. All went quiet as a curtain of beads was pulled aside and a figure emerged.
Who is that?
She looks awfully young.
Judging from the regalia, they're tribal chief.
Tribal chief? A girl? Hardly.
Says the man with the head of state called Victoria.
I'm Sianda. Who are you? Why are you here?
You speak English.
Is this a TARDIS translation thing?
It's shut down. It couldn't translate a French menu.
You are surprised. You are not the first to visit. Years ago, the missionary came from the land of Queen Empress. He taught us your language and of your god, and our elders passed those teachings to us, so we might better understand your ways. I ask again, who are you?
There's a fantastic piece of sound design nearish the end as the Doctor gets himself psychically linked with an alien machine and needs to escape. It's kind of like the audio equivalent of when 13 broke the Master's plan on the Timeless Children, but frankly, far better.
It's trying to swap my mind. The noise we heard in the TARDIS. Amanda!
What do you need me to do?
Hold my hand! Must concentrate. Where is it? Signal control. Come on, where are you? Got it. Initiating. Shut down. I am going to have one monster of a headache.
Anyway, this is imperfect. It's a bit too backloaded with exposition, for instance. Near the end, the story stops to explain the backstory of the Blamey Eye. If they had a bit more time, like a 4-part story, I imagine they'd be able to structure things a little more evenly. But overall, this is mostly a strong start to the box set. The second story is called Like, and it's essentially 2 Black Mirror episodes nailed together. We have 2 main concepts, both of which are good and important subjects to talk about. Both would make for a decent foundation on their own and could easily work well together, but not like this.
Not like this.
The Doctor receives a message from an old friend of his, a Yoblin called Santa's Furnace. Yoblins are space lizards. Apparently, the poor guy's home planet has just been destroyed by an asteroid strike.
Yes, just as I thought. Doctor. Peri, meet my old friend, Sandy's Furnace.
Hi.
How are you, Sandy's Furnace? We'll have to pop over for a visit, seeing as we're in your neck of the nebula.
Sadly, that will not be possible, Doctor.
Oh?
Our planet is no more. An asteroid struck. Our atmosphere is poisoned.
Oh, no.
Oh, you need our help.
This is the first problem. If that's established history and not the Daleks changing history to cause nonsense or something, then you'd think the Doctor would keep track of little things, like when his friends' planets get exploded. Nothing in this story requires Sandus to be his friend, but 6 is a trope where he's friends with random people, so writer Jacqueline Rayner went with that, to the slight detriment of sex. Anyway, the only habitable planet in range of the survivors' ships is Racina, a human colony who don't care for refugees. You see, Racina is basically run like Twitter. Modern Twitter. There's chips in everyone that record and broadcast stuff. You only have full access to society if you've over a certain amount of subs. Likes and dislikes cause physical sensation. Too many dislikes will kill you. And as a result, the colony is run by and for the mob.
A person issues their thoughts. The people who sub to them like or dislike it, then can reissue the thoughts to their own subs. Likes, of course, make you feel good. Dislikes, however, make you feel bad. You experience pain. You will stop...
I got these sort of insect stings earlier, and a pain in my stomach.
Then it sounds like you've already experienced it. As I was saying, that will discourage you, the generic you, from making unpopular statements in the future. Either you will change your ways, or you will just keep quiet.
And the leaders will lie and create evidence to give the mob fresh meat. The basic idea here, refugees trying to get help from space Twitter, has aged very well in the last few years. But alas, it makes the fluffiness of the story even more jarring. For instance, Peri almost instantly becomes a celebrity because a company has nearly the same name as her.
Oh, come along, Peri.
Let Peri Beauty be your fairy godmother. Free makeovers today onwards.
Peri!
Sorry, I got distracted. Look at this shop. Peri Beauty. Named after me, of course.
I suspect it's named after the Peri. A beautiful fairy in Persian mythology.
Who, before it was good, was evil. Yeah.
A Peri is a good and beautiful fairy in Persian mythology. The interesting thing is, before it became good, it was evil. And that's what you are. Thoroughly evil.
Doctor, stop it!
No.
I think someone mentioned that to me once.
Hey, did I hear you say your name was Peri?
Yeah. Well, Peri, actually. but the fairy and I spell it the same.
That is brilliant. I work here at Peri Beauty. Can I take a pic?
But we are rather busy.
It'll take 2 seconds.
What?
Come on, a picture of you with a few products.
Okay then, I guess so. Doctor?
I don't think he's our target market.
I'll wait here. Don't be long.
Hi there. My name's Peri, and I've come all the way to your planet to seek out Peri Summer.
Well, if that's what aliens are like, then whoa, take me to your leader.
Oh.
That is stupid, even for social media. The Doctor becomes a pariah because someone edits footage of him.
Governor Crompton, I know the Yoblins well. I can tell you that on that ship, there were Yoblins who committed murder, Yoblins who had perpetrated fraud. But they may look like they want shelter, safety and health, but underneath, they plan to take over your planet. I plan to convince your people to help them. With their own rewards, profit in this for me. Your citizens will believe me. I'm telling you this so you understand. Your position is hopeless.
What do you have to say in your defense? Mr. Simpson, your silence will only incriminate you further. No, Mr. Simpson, don't take your anger out on me. Get back, get back! Mr. Simpson, no! Dramatization may not have happened.
Okay, that bit has aged pretty well. Anyway, there's also adverts for various products that are less social media and more 1950s TV.
Sweet tooth, but worried what effect those sweets are having on your teeth? Worry no more with Candy Dental Floss. Get the sugary hit of candy floss while cleaning your teeth. It's dentalicious. Try Cheesily Cheese-style cheese. It tastes like cheese because it is cheese. Cheese.
There's nothing like a newly laid egg. Get farm freshness at the touch of a button with new Robo Hen from Eggomatic.
That's not just Sub Robocop, that's Sub Robocop Prime Directives. And the Doctor and Peri manage to sort things out extremely quickly near the end. It's like they're doing a traditional length story, got halfway through, and then realised they had 10 minutes left. And as a result, and sorry for the spoilers, but I've got to talk about this, they save the day by filming an unfunny 1950s style sitcom where Sandus Furness is a bumbling fool, and I warn you, I'm very sure this was accidentally, but very reminiscent of a Step and Fetch It minstrel show kind of thing.
Life with Yob, it's a full-time job to spend your life with Yob.
Hey, Yob! I'm on my way back. Can you put the kettle on? Issue. I'm home.
Hello, Peri. I have put the kettle on as requested, but it is burning my ears.
Oh, Yob.
That's Life with Yob. Life with Yob. It's a full-time job to spend your life with Yob.
I'm sorry, Yob. You need to put your money where your mouth is. Issue. I'm home.
Hello, Peri. I have put my money where my mouth is, but it doesn't taste very nice.
Oh, Yob.
That's Life with Yob. Life with Yob. It's a full-time job to spend your life with Yob.
That's a great idea, Yob. Knock yourself out. Issue.
Hello, Peri. I knocked myself out. Now my head hurts.
Oh, Yob.
That's Life with Yob.
And this makes the people of Racina like the Oblins and want to save them.
Not a great plan.
Having said all that, if they do a sequel where the poor Yoblins end up as an apartheid underclass, relegated to servile performance roles, and the Doctor is a huge "what have I done" moment, this will retroactively become a masterpiece. But until then, this isn't good. It's turning real-world horrors into a simplistic cartoon. It actually has echoes of Kerblam for its refusal to properly deal with the horrible situation on the planet. It's also got echoes of Dot and Bubble, for obvious reasons, social media, xenophobia, the companion taking centre stage. But Dot and Bubble is better. Feel free to crop that out and send it to people who think I'm incapable of being nice to Russell. Dot and Bubble was better than this, by miles. The third story is The Vanity Trap, and in short, it's great. The TARDIS lands on the set of a talk show, mid-interview. The interviewee is Myrna Kendall, a retired aging starlet from old Hollywood.
That was a scene from Last Flight to Albuquerque. One of the many classic pictures you starred in, Miss Kendall.
Say, who was that gorgeous girl up there?
No, you're still beautiful.
Oh. Oh. Hey.
You know, I don't think this is Metebelis 4.
Say, you can't park that thing here without a permit. Anyway, we'll be back right after these messages. Probably.
Turns out that she knows Six and Peri. She became friends with them on the set of her last film 25 years earlier.
Are we on TV?
I might not be come tomorrow.
Who are you people?
Doctor!
Have we met?
They're with me.
So they decide to go back and see what happened. And it turns out that some time weirdness happened. A stuffed elephant came back to life, tech rust through in seconds, impossible fluctuations in film. The guy playing the monster is fused with the now living fur that the costume was made from, and the guy is aged to death.
No.
Dr. Cup!
Seems likely.
Oh, there's no missing that awful tie. What happened?
Aged 20, 30 years in a blink. He didn't stand a chance.
Would he have suffered?
I don't know.
Oh. Look at me when you say that. Don't you dare lie.
Then, yes.
Oh.
Yes, he did. 20, 30 years of screaming pain. An instant and an eternity. He felt it all.
No.
I told you. Time is brutal.
Good God.
This story has two main things. A, it is timey-wimey as fuck, complicated as hell, and gets more complicated as it goes, so you really need to pay attention to everything. Apparently most of the cast had trouble following it, and they had the actual script.
Has it been easy for you to get your head around what's going on? Deathly silence.
It took me a few reads to get what was going on with the time jumps, but...
I can honestly say I have no idea what was going on.
I only read my bits.
Do you?
No, if that.
And B, this is a riff on Joan Crawford, especially when she was making Trog, her last film. That's why there's 1970s monster movie footage on screen right now.
Stay where you are, Dr. Brockton. That's an order. Dr. Brockton!
The film she's in also riffs on other stuff, such as Bride of the Monster, but the main thing is Trog. You see, at the end of her career, Joan Crawford's star had fallen so much that she was reduced to flying to England and making this low-budget monster film. The budget was so low that she didn't even have a changing room, and had to provide her own wardrobe. So there's a palpable air of sadness over the whole thing.
You? I don't get many visitors. Step into the light. Don't be shy.
Myrna.
Oh, now I see you. Say, didn't I used to be something?
Myrna herself is likeable, hateful, sympathetic, tragic, and vicious depending on the scenes. Much like the real Joan Crawford.
I used to be a beauty. Now I'm just some painted relic with store-bought hair.
Oh.
Now don't print that.
But that's not what's troubling you.
Something's out to get me.
Something?
Well, in the corner of my eye, I can't see it. I asked you a question. What did you say?
You got your line wrong, that's all.
She's right, Mona dear, but we can go again.
No, I was perfect.
You made a mistake. It doesn't matter.
I am always perfect.
Look, I know you're the great Myrna Kendall and you never stop reminding people, but you haven't been that for a long time. You can be wrong. Don't take it out on me.
You do not interrupt me, girl.
Well, I just did.
No, never. Because you are nothing. Do you hear me? When I am speaking, you don't exist.
What happened?
Where did they go? Where are the crew?
Oh, no.
Fun fact, the younger actor there, Caroline Sue, was played by Rosie Baker, Colin's daughter. I really don't want to spoil stuff, so I'll stick to minutiae. Six decides to blend in into the 70s by wearing Smith 3's old clothing, which is amazing.
VIP coming through.
Oh, remember, Doctor, what we said about being less conspicuous?
Yes, I know. And it still fits like a glove.
Yeah, Doctor. About that.
Well, it was a very good idea of yours for me to change clothes. After all, I wouldn't want to overshadow our star.
It's just... this wasn't quite what I had in mind.
Well, this is what I wore back in the 70s. It's a Mr. Fish original.
Velvet and ruffles. Whew, Jimi Hendrix, eat your heart out.
TV Who should do this gag at some point. The story has a wonderful scene-setting on-set documentary about the film being made that would slot in perfectly with real, period-accurate documentaries looking at 70s films being made.
Costing 250 guineas and made from yak fur and latex rubber, this atomic beast lives in Poplar and breeds greyhounds on his weekends off.
It's a bit hot inside the suit. They've added air holes, but his eyes still steam up.
Despite rumours of a troubled shoot, Miss Kendall insists that wet English weather and her nuclear age adversary are worth sacrificing the Hollywood sunshine for.
It's simply a thrill to work with Mr. Garfield again. We're shooting so fast, every day is an education.
51 films, and you're still learning then.
For sure. I've never done a science fiction, and I wanted to make a picture for the new generation, not mine.
It's just fantastic. They name drop a couple of the director's previous films, Journey into Terror and Counterplot, and those were William Hartnell Doctor Who episodes, back when every episode had its own title, before the stories themselves really had names. And Myrna's played by Sarah Douglas, who played Ursa in Superman 2.
What an undemanding male this Superman must be.
She really should do some more Who. Anyway, this is the strongest story of the box set so far. The first two have their ups and downs. And this is all ups. Kind of ironic for a story that features its own Dr. Feelgood.
I reckon we're gonna have to double dose you today. A little zap zap.
Must we, Dr. Kopp? I'm feeling fine now.
I saw those rushes yesterday. The camera don't lie.
Oh, well.
There's no shame. We're just helping you along. Me and my little box of tricks. Dr. Karp's miracle machine.
Let's get it over with.
Anyway, this is great. Not quite worth the cost of the set by itself, but luckily it doesn't need to be, because the fourth story, Conflict Theory, also exists. This is a weird and funny little story about Six and Peri going into therapy with some robotic Sigmund Freuds.
Paging Dr. Freud 415. One of your patient's inner demons has escaped and is rampaging through Atrium D. Please talk it back into your patient before it eats anyone else. Thank you.
Wow. There's a lot of them.
1,000 in total. I wonder what the collective noun is of a group of robot Sigmund Freuds. A schizophrenia of Freud's, perhaps?
How about a Freud squad?
Freud squad. Very good.
Obviously, there's more to it than that. There's much more to it. But that's the spine, and what a spine it is. Six and Peri have always had a fiery relationship, with her never quite managing to beat him in submission like Evelyn did. But she won't back down either, which means they fight and bicker and argue. And this is older Peri, so she's more assertive, and Six is much more gentle. But that undercurrent is a lace throughout the relationship.
We've been hiding inside the TARDIS for months. All I see wherever I go are roundels. I'm starting to dream of huge, round-eyed faces with big, screaming mouths. What's the point of having all of time and space to explore when we never even leave this stupid ship anymore?
We have plenty of things we can do in the TARDIS.
Like what?
Well, we haven't finished our game of chess yet.
Okay.
They're like siblings who love each other but only learn to like each other later on. This history really gives a lot of richness to draw on.
How would you describe your relationship with Doctor?
Well, it's difficult.
It's difficult to describe your relationship? Or your relationship is difficult?
Both.
So you would describe your relationship as healthy?
Yes, up until now.
And what makes a healthy friendship?
It's our experiences that have drawn us together, made us like a well-oiled team. Two people with but a single mind.
But that is not friendship. What you describe is akin to comradeship.
Look, just take it from me, we're friends. We have a lot in common. Many, many things.
Such as?
Oh, many things. We like fishing, playing chess.
We don't have a lot in common.
So what do you do together for recreation?
We go fishing and we play chess.
So you like fishing and playing chess?
Not really.
And it's not just talking too, there are flashbacks to recent adventures slotted in, explaining how they ended up in therapy. And even that's not the whole thing. It kind of evolves into another connected storyline involving the complex and alien species with an inferiority complex. They're driven to destroy the inferiors.
Inferiority must be removed.
Inferiority must be removed? Come down here and say that!
Which means destroying everything that makes them feel inferior.
You are only trapped by the walls you build yourself.
What do you think?
They're motivational slogans.
Yes.
Kind of happy, clappy nonsense that students put on the wall next to their posters of Garfield.
Exactly.
Well, I don't understand.
Me neither. Who would want to listen to that stuff all the time?
A species with self-esteem problems, perhaps?
An alien race with an inferiority complex. Are you serious?
Inferiority must be removed. That's what they keep saying.
All this sounds kinda silly, and it is, but when a writer, Nev Fountain's talents, is his ability to marry the serious with the ridiculous and the heartfelt. Just by himself, he's made Six and Peri's relationship one of the most explored and deepest between any Doctor and companion. He took one of the TV show's blunders, with Six attacking Peri and being a dick to her constantly, and turned it into a rich and complex relationship, while still being dicks to each other. Sometimes. Now, this isn't one of Fountain's A-list, but his B-list is better than most writers' best material, so it's worth a listen. I mean, this includes a detailed psychological breakdown of the Doctor, devastatingly put. And it's not even the main thing.
When you left your home planet, you were embarking on a life-changing course, one that would inevitably be fraught with danger. You fled with your granddaughter. You shared the danger like any family.
Well, that much is true.
Your guilt at involving her in your situation was transferred to every subsequent traveling companion. Vicky was an orphan, stranded on a strange world at the mercy of a sociopath. Stephen, a castaway on a planet of hostile robots. Katarina was fleeing from a war zone. These were people you told yourself you were rescuing, just like Susan. The life you gave them was dangerous, yes, but it was better than the life you rescued them from.
Well, yes, that is a truth of sorts. But it's not even close to the full story.
But it was Dodo who broke that pattern. You took her with you simply because she reminded you of Susan. But she was not in any danger, not fleeing from anything. Any guilt that rose from her fate with you would be yours alone. And what happened to Dodo?
Nothing.
Exactly. Nothing. You left her back on Earth as soon as you possibly could, without even saying goodbye. Is that not the classic manifestation of guilt?
This guy is incredibly talented, and he gets Who on a level that few writers can dream of. Anyway, this establishes that Peri's been with Six for 12 years, her time, though it's never established if that includes the 5 years she was in Crontep or not. But Peri suggests being left on Earth in the mid-90s, so it probably does. Anyway, while this is not a perfect box set, and while I much prefer the main range approach, 4-part stories, this is a pretty good start to Six's box sets. After a short break from Peri that included another Constance set, which I'll get to eventually, and a whole disappointing saga with Mel and Hebe, aka Shirley Ann Bingham, but possibly even more wasted, we finally had more Six and Peri with Bad Terms, a double set of 3-parters. I don't know if it was deliberate or not, but there are weird parallels between the two stories. Like, they're both set in Earth, both involve villainous English people, and both involve alien-human hybrids with powerful violent parents. Anyway, we start with Sorsha of the Seven Seas, and I am sorry because this is a script from a comparative newbie and I really don't enjoy crapping on work by the inexperienced. It feels like punching down somehow. I'm vicious to Russell the Davies, but he's in charge of Wrecking Who, so he outranks me. But this is only Nina Millen's second script for Big Finish and her first Doctor Who, so I feel kinda bad. But I hated this. I hated it. In fact...
Music! Oh, yeah! It was like lightning! Everybody was fighting! And the music was soothing! And they all started grooving! And the man at the back said, everyone attack! And it turned into a mob! And the girl at the front said, fire, money! And it turned into a mob!
Oh boy, that was cathartic. To begin with, this is already at a disadvantage because Six already did a pirate story, and it's one of the best Evelyn ones, and it's a musical, so it's also very memorable. So I spent most of the time listening to this, remembering how much better that was. Okay, this is about Saoirse O'Grady, the pirate queen of the Irish Sea. It's the reign of Queen Anne, and she has an entire fleet dedicated to raising British merchant vessels, freeing slaves, and generally hoping to annoy the English into leaving Europe entirely.
That ship was stuffed to the rafters with goods pillaged from lands acquired in the most bloodthirsty of manners. And it was on its way to deliver those goods to England by way of another little land called Ireland, where they planned to stock up on even more plundered bounty.
Well, when you put it that way.
It's true that pirates don't always come dressed in rags.
That's why I've made it my life's toil to sabotage this foulest form of piracy and put the food back into the hands of the starving.
This is basically a celebrity historical about how awesome Saoirse was, her feats, her fight against sexism and colonial oppression, and even against racism. Her second in command is a freed slave that she rescued. But none of it is real, because Saoirse was made up by the writer. Maybe I'm a minority on this, but I really feel if they're going to bring in a historical character, bang on about how great they are, make them the focus of the story, and name the thing after them, they should maybe be a real person.
We might be outnumbered, but we're not outspirited. I've brought each of you in and saved you all from fates more terrible than this. And that makes us proper family. So we fight together. Our bond thicker and stronger than anything they can come at us with.
Hell, this might have worked better on Alien Planet or set in the future, because rightly or wrongly, we are primed to think that when the Doctor meets a colossally important historical character who does ridiculous shit, that they weren't invented for this story. This is a celebrity historical for a fictional character. And I really hope I'm not the only person who sees the issue with that. I mean, in the making of, one or two people seem to think she's real.
Nina has written a script that explores Saoirse as a character, and I had no idea. I'm ashamed to say I've never really been into pirate lore.
And I would be amazed to discover that Saoirse is not real. I believe her totally. I think that's a tribute to Rebecca, who's made her very, very real.
But it was fascinating to see this character presented on the page and get a glimpse into not just that era of history, but also her as a forceful personality. You know, it's a really great character to read on the page.
And apart from that, the golden age of piracy happening near the British mainland was historically a thing, but a whole fleet? No, it was primarily smuggling. And the reason for that is why we don't see the Somali pirates operating out of Manhattan. You need a lawless area to create powerful pirates. Or the pirates need to be working for the government in some way. What Sorsha has here, in all practical purposes, is a floating rebellion operating near the seat of British power, and historically, the one military thing the British are truly great at is killing shit at sea. Now, Sorsha was inspired, I'm pretty sure, by Grace O'Malley, an actual Irish pirate queen, who did most of this stuff. The difference is, she was operating 100 years earlier, during the Elizabethan era, when England was a B-list European power that had only begun to put serious influence over Ireland. And I mean comparatively, England had been fucking with Ireland for centuries, but it really ramped up with the Flight of the Earls and the plantation of Ulster. This, at 100 years later, during the reign of Queen Anne, has the UK, not just England. Ireland is subjugated, and strength-wise, the UK is very much in an upswing. It's not at the level of the British Empire as we think of it, but it's much closer than it was in Grace O'Malley's time. By the time this is set, the UK is too powerful to tolerate Sorsha. Quite why this isn't just about Grace O'Malley, I do not understand. Anyway, then we find out there's an entire secret organisation of women pirates who sometimes meet up, apparently somewhere near Britain or Ireland.
We have, since time immemorial, battled and bartered between each other, fought over bounty and territory. We have been painted as villains, mocked for our womanhood, and now we've been hunted because of it.
Probably the Silly Isles. I mean, they are silly isles after all. Ha ha ha. Never since Kill the Moon has a Who story been so injured by setting it locally. You set this in space or the future or somewhere, and the issues of the story are suddenly much less glaringly obvious. And buckle up, I'm not done yet. This story seems to be patterned off the girl who died from Series 9 of New Who. Alien bullies arrive to do some raiding, they target a group of people who are known for their fighters, and the day is saved by, among other things, girl power. The villainous Zorathonians are so much like the Mire in sound, character ambience, gimmick, and general dickery that I was legit surprised when we found out that they weren't the Mire.
Why all this special treatment, Xenaroth? Why not siphon us up as you did with the other ships? Surely that would be a better use of your limited resources.
He has a point. Permission to subsume the vessel, Commander.
Permission denied. I wonder, Commander, if your superiors know you've been wasting your precious time and energy troubling an undeveloped backwater like Earth, when you should be raiding far richer planets.
This is kind of like how Paradoxicide, from recorded time, reinvented the Dravens and just called them the Volsci. Like, why? But on to Sorsha. Now, Sorsha has been ill throughout the story. Her crew are even making noises about replacing her. And I'm sorry for the spoilers, but it turns out that she's pregnant.
There's another one! Oh, curses! Of all the moments to start. Start what?
Having a baby. She's about to have a baby.
And no one noticed. Wow, I am so glad she didn't have a long conversation with Peri about her clothing, so we can hear all about the stuff she's wearing and how it wouldn't possibly hide a pregnancy.
Oh, that's better. I feel lighter than an English merchant's pockets after an Irishman shook his hand.
I'm glad.
These men's breeches are pretty nifty for getting in and out of when nature calls. I don't bother with those fancy skirts the women folk wear back home.
And then the baby is left in the care of the British guy who works for the villain.
Yes, all right. Will you keep that racket down? It's nap time and it's taken her ages to settle.
Ah, smirking, you old fishwife. Pull up a chair.
I will do no such thing. There's nappies to boil wash and milk to prepare.
It looks like you found yourself the perfect nanny there, Saoirse.
Aye, Doctor. He's got a knack for it. Someone to watch over her until she gets her sea legs.
Sorsha is a pirate queen with an entire fleet, apparently filled with woman pirates, and she leaves the baby with her hated prisoner. Because naturally, 2 minutes later, Sorsha's back on her feet, pirating about.
Doctor! There you are!
Saoirse, what you doing? You should be resting.
She insisted on coming to find you. Perry, are you all right?
I'm fine, Adria. Thank you.
As am I, thank goodness.
Rushworth, you scoundrel. Let me at him.
Stop, Saoirse! Save your strength.
Honestly, I wonder if this was originally supposed to be a 4-parter and it got maimed in editing. I mean, the human villain, the insanely foppish Sir Kenneth Rushworth, gets betrayed by his alien allies and chucked into a cell with Peri.
Oh no, he's not coming in here.
That's better. A slightly larger hovel.
And we don't even get a proper scene of them stuck together and bitching at each other. Just some generic dialogue. On top of all that, the depiction of the Irish in this is the sort of thing you see in 1970s vaguely racist British films. Or in Star Trek The Next Generation. All fiery lasses and potching and incoherent slogans about freedom. And all the fucking fiddle music. It is a crime that Ireland almost never turns up in Who. It is the closest foreign country to the UK. 1/4 of the countries that make up the UK is on Ireland. But frankly, it's a much bigger crime when it does. And I think I'll end this rant here. This is just not good. Cast-wise, they get points for casting an actual Irish person as Saoirse, Rebecca O'Mara from Beetlejuice 2 and the Toxic Avenger remake. The villainous Rushworth was played by Gareth David Lloyd, aka Ianto Jones himself. Sadly, kinda wasted though. His Ponzi English villain voice is fun.
Your Excellency, finally, we get to meet in, person, so to speak. There's been a bit of a misunderstanding, it seems, but no need to be embarrassed. No harm has come to me.
But, Commander...
Your Excellency, it is I, Captain Rushworth, your trusted ally. I led you to the Clare, just as you asked. Look, the amulet you so graciously entrusted me with. It's here.
Shut up!
Rather bizarrely, his terrible fate was being left adrift at sea and found by the British Navy.
Help me! Someone! This plank is barely keeping me afloat!
Ahoy there! What are you doing in English waters? In the name of the Queen, identify yourself!
Help me, you buffoon! Careful with that ship! You're going to capsize me!
Oh no! He's probably fine. I really don't get why this wasn't the French or the Spanish. Anyone who'd actually be angry to find him. Anyway, the second story is Read for Danger by Nev Fountain. Like Conflict Theory, this isn't an A-list Fountain story, but it's extremely solid with an ingenious concept, and I am shocked that Classica knew who didn't do beforehand. A rich boarding school in England that admits aliens.
I'm Dr. Drylake, the head of the maths faculty. Come and meet everyone. That chap over by the coffee machine is Scarnox, the chemistry master. Go on, Scarnox, wave a tentacle. Hello there.
Pleased to meet you.
That furry thing over there is old Beano, who attempts to teach Latin.
Magister Cave, Drylake. Magister Cave.
He's a bit prickly, but that's just his species. Just don't sit by the radiator. He's prone to squirt acid if you take his chair.
Consider us warned, eh, Professor Brown?
Absolutely, Dr. Pretorius.
Just another warning before you make yourself comfortable. There's a milk carton in the fridge labelled Professor Praxis. On no account, drink it.
Right, because that belongs to Professor Praxis.
No, it is Professor Praxis. He likes to stay in liquid form in his spare periods. It's his way of preparing for combat with the fifth form.
So, they don't accept women, but they're happy to accept venomous porcupines and sentient liquids.
I've been catching near glimpses of aliens out of the corner of my eye all morning. And I can tell you, it's not just the teachers. Well, that boy who spoke to the headmaster?
Alien.
I'd need a better look. Now, the credulity field's not affecting me, but I'd say he was a Ventrolian. Most of the boys are human, but I got the impression there's a definite sprinkling of extraterrestrials.
Think of it as a twist on the boarding schools that admit the powerful from across the world. Like how Kim Jong-un went to school in Switzerland. But it's not just that, it's about the dark history of these types of schools. The ones in England that Harry Potter has whitewashed oh so well have a history of deliberate, institutionalized abuse designed to create sociopathy in the rulers of tomorrow. And this story doesn't exactly shy away from any of that, even going into the cycle of abuse that it fosters. This also includes a student rebellion, kind of like a prison rebellion.
Why are they tying that rope to the chimney?
As you see, I have suspended this prefect by his ankles.
Help me! Help!
I give you fair warning. If anyone even attempts to come up here, I will cut this rope.
Not heard of this happening lately, but historically, these were kind of common.
Are you a teacher?
No, Colonel Warwick, British Army. Headmaster always calls us in when a rebellion gets out of hand.
They've broken several school rules. I think this time you may need bayonets.
Some schools that had connections to the military even had weaponry that the students would seize, and the army would have to be called out. And none of this is really the main plot, it just kind of happens in it. You see, Six has received a message from a mysterious red-haired child at the school. A psychic distress call apparently sent via TARDIS key in the telepathic circuits.
We're here on a mission. We're here to find the red-headed child.
A red-headed boy in a public school, screaming for his life. I wish we had more to go on.
I agree. But sadly, the feedback from the telepathic circuits only gave me a blurred vision of the future. The boy's face, as it appeared in my mind, was out of focus.
Whoever it is, he's clearly connected to the Doctor, so Six and Peri take up positions as teachers to investigate.
So wonderful to see many new faces. On that subject, as you can see, we also have new boys on staff. History Master Dr. Sextus Pretorius and Biology Master Professor Peregrine Brown.
Nice work on the pseudonyms. Sextus, from Sixth, was a traditional Roman name for the sixth son in a family, and Pretorius, from Dr. Pretorius, from Bride of Frankenstein.
The Bride of Frankenstein.
Peri's pseudonym is much simpler, but is still good. Peregrine, from The Bird, or, Pippin took from Lord of the Rings, and Brown from Brown.
Perpigillium of the Brown.
The Brown, eh?
Okay, it's not that good.
And where is this place?
Because it's a traditional school with its alien students and staff, women aren't allowed to be teachers, so Peri's using a jury-rigged chameleon circuit to appear and sound like a little old man.
Would you like to say a few words to the boys, gentlemen?
Well, thank you, Headmaster. I can't tell you how delighted I am to be here to teach you boys in this wonderful historic school.
Likewise.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Hold on, Peri. You just glitched again.
I didn't see anything.
Oh, you still look like an elderly Englishman. It was how you sounded.
How do I sound? I can only hear me as me.
Well, if I must describe your voice, it's a lot like Charles Lawton.
The question is, Frau Helm, were you lying then? Are you lying now? Or are you not, in fact, a chronic and habitual liar?
Oh. I was hoping for Walter Pidgeon or Peter Cushing.
Well, it was the best I could do at short notice.
I'm kind of sad that we didn't even get a scene hearing Peri's alter ego before revealing it was her. There was a story where another Doctor's companion was using a similar piece of tech to pretend to be a guy, and it was only revealed as a twist at the end of the story. And I'm not saying which story because I don't want to spoil it. But something like that would have been nice here. Could have even been a cameo for one of the very elderly ex-companion actors. Peter Purvis. You're in recording something? Do you want to do 2 lines as an elderly man? I will do it, Dad. I've never nailed him a teacher. There you go. But, this isn't exactly a long story, and that was an absolutely incomprehensible impersonation of Peter Purvis that I ad-libbed. So I can understand why they didn't do it. It's not a long story and there's a lot of ground to cover already. Anyway, the Doctor meets up with a teen who might or might not be the child. A teen that he has a connection to, which is kind of hard to believe.
If I'm your father, what did I look like when you last saw me?
What?
Well, it's a simple question. What did I look like? What did your father wear?
It was a long time ago. I was very little.
I see. So you can't remember. Very convenient.
Yes, I can. I can remember a long scarf.
A long scarf?
Oh, yes. And then another time you wore a frilly shirt with, and a cape. Then you wore baggy check trousers.
He described my previous selves. Nearly all of them.
Even the one before you?
All the way down to his celery.
Wow. You think you know a guy.
There's only one conclusion. My earlier selves have conspired to keep the existence of Malcolm from me. I have been excluded from this boy's life, and I have no idea why.
Well, there could be a reason.
What possible reason could there be?
Well, you know.
No, I don't know. Spit it out, Peri.
Perhaps they just thought you were a little too unstable to be a father.
Unstable? Me?
And you might even miss some of the sparkling dialogue, working out the many, many reasons why it's impossible, many which are never even brought up. But don't worry, it's all sorted by the end, so try not to do that and just enjoy it.
Do I have any alien superpowers?
Huh? What?
Well, you're an alien. Mum isn't, but you are. So I'm a half alien. Do I have any alien superpowers?
Well, there is a possibility that you could change your physiognomy.
See what?
Your face. Well, I've changed my face 5 times.
Wicked. How do I find out if I can change my face like you?
By dying.
Okay, right.
There are 2 massive things near the end of this, and I will spoil one of them. It's not that important. They actually introduced the terrible Zodin as a character. Zodin was a joke in the TV show in the 80s. They'd mention her as one of the Doctor's greatest ever foes.
And the terrible Zodin. Oh, you weren't concerned with her, were you? No, she happened in the future.
It's one of my favourite bits. Alas, it dropped off a cliff eventually, and New Who's never even mentioned her. It turns out that she's retired from space villainy and married a former warlord who idolises a Doctor, which explains why the show stopped referencing her. Kinda.
Zodin, he's here, love.
My baby! Oh, my baby! I'm coming up!
I never thought I'd hear the terrible Zodin's voice, and she's not even a main character. It's just a cameo. She just turns up. I can't tell if I love or hate it. But I will say this. I think that's Nicola Bryant voicing her. It is Nicola Bryant! So because she's voiced by Nicola Bryant, could the terrible Zodin be yet more versions of Peri? Probably not, but it is a funny idea.
And while we're about it, who is this terrible Zodin?
I called you Zodin, did I? Oh, they don't make villains like her anymore. A woman of rare guile and devilish cunning.
Thanks a lot.
The other secret, which I will not spoil, sets up some interesting things, though until the next release comes out, I am gonna be terrified that they're gonna do something stupid and say Androzani happened right after Planet of Fire. Because while that makes sense when watching the TV show, the Peri and Aramim run that happened between them is one of the best in Big Finish. And I'm concerned because there seems to be a rights issue with Aramim, and Big Finish likes to pretend she doesn't exist.
Peri, is it a custom of this age for a man to place a hand on your bottom as a form of greeting?
Not really, no. Aramim, did you just break that guy's arm?
Yes.
Well, I'm shocked, that's all.
I know what you mean. Were I back in my own palace, I would have servants to administer the punishment for placing a hand on my royal behind. But as I am without my entourage, I have to do it myself.
I notice you left him the other arm.
Everyone has the right to make at least 2 mistakes.
Anyway, like I said, this isn't Ned Fountain's best work, unlike The Kingmaker, which is his best work. But Red for Danger is still very strong. I'm not sure if it overpowers Source of the Seven Seas and makes this worth buying, though. It was really bad. Red for Danger is the last Peri story thus far. Trials of a Time Lord, which I'm treating as a male release, might feature a version that's even older, but that's a different version who's lived a life in Crontep with Brian Blessed. So until they release more, this is the end of the road for Peri as companion, I think. I'm pretty sure the next 6-box set will also be a Peri one, and I do expect it to continue this plot. So I'll eventually do a video of new stories with companions who've already had videos. There's already a new Constance box set out. Get a couple more of them, I'll do a video. Next time I'll be covering the Lost stories, and there are a lot of them, so expect 2 videos. Anyway, seeing us slip back and Trouble in Paradise have accidentally made it tradition for me to do an extra random non-Big Finish Peri story. This time you're getting The River of Death. This isn't a drama, it's an audiobook through and through. Nicola Bryant does everything but the sound effects. Peri's requested they visit the Grand Canyon. As a kid she saw it with her dad, but it was swamped with tourists, and she wants to see it a little more privately.
It seemed to me that the only way to experience the canyon was when there were no people around. That's why I suggested 30,000 BC, before even the native tribes settled here. There'll be nothing but nature and us.
That is a lot of privacy. Is a whole continent enough space? Anyway, naturally, they park a bit too close to the edge, and the TARDIS falls in, and our story is about Six and Peri's quest to get it back.
We've lost the TARDIS, and we almost plunged to our deaths. What are we going to do now? The Doctor continued to stare into the depths. Follow the old girl down, I suppose, he said simply. Though I think we'd better take a less direct route. Oh, you think? Peri was shaking, understanding how close to death she had come. Couldn't you have parked the TARDIS further from the edge? He shrugged. She picked the spot, not me. Maybe this will teach her to be more careful in future.
For the whole opening, I was kind of shocked. Not only was it a pure historical with a mundane aim, travel through the Grand Canyon and find the TARDIS, but it was being done when they're the only human-shaped people for thousands of miles.
With no light pollution to obscure it, the sky was astounding. There were thousands of stars burning brightly above them, each one making a slow crawl across the night sky. Peri felt a sense of vast peace. This view makes almost everything worthwhile, she sighed. Even those disappointing biscuits? She laughed. Even those.
It's daring, it's brave, it's striking, it's different. It could go so easily wrong. And it's not actually 30,000 years ago. The TARDIS got the date wrong. They made it with a Pal Geographic expedition of 1869. These guys. It was led by John Wesley Powell and was the first US expedition to take detailed records of the canyon. I don't know that much about it, but from what I do know, it seems to match the history pretty well.
He held out his hand. Armel Howland, journalist. He gestured to another man. My brother, Seneca. That long-haired gent you've been talking with is Will Dunn. He has a deep aversion to scissors and razors. Our cook is Hawkins. The young feller is Andrew Hall. There's George Bradley and Jack Sumner. And that's Walter Powell, the professor's brother. Professor? Asked the Doctor with interest. That's what we call the Major.
This is the most Hartnell Sixth Doctor story of all time. It's a historical travelogue through dangers and desperation and a small core group of people. It's Marco Polo in the USA. They get soaked, they get driven to the edge of exhaustion, they have to eat terrible food, and they mostly have a terrible time. Although this isn't as experimentally minimalist as I thought they were going for, this is still refreshingly low-key. There's not even a villain. It's Peri and the Doctor and the real historical characters versus the river.
Peri gulped in air between the lashings of cold water that pulled and slammed into her. The chill grew, sinking deeper into her flesh and bones. It seemed as if all she knew, all she would ever now know, was the wildness of the waters. There came another crash as the vessel hit one of the sunken boulders and the boat flipped forwards, its bow dipping under the raging river. With a cry that no one could possibly have heard, Peri was thrown from her seat. She barely had a second to be thankful that she hadn't been tossed onto one of the rocks, but instead into the foaming waters.
Writer John Peel, no, not that one, gives us an adventure that feels really 19th century, leading to an end that you really won't see coming. And not in the best way, kind of anticlimactic. But it is apparently based in actual history. The other main issue is the narration. Poor Nicola Bryant has to voice about 10 American men and try to make them feel unique and identifiable. Unfortunately, most of them end up sounding like variations on a theme. That theme being grizzled 1890s gold prospectors.
Then he turned, removed his hat, and slapped his thigh with it. "Yee-yaw, ma'am," he cried heartily. "If you ain't a sight for these sore old eyes." "But what are you all doing here?" "Same thing you're attempting by the look of things," the man called Will answered. "We're exploring this here river." "First ever to do so," one of his companions added proudly. "We thought we were the first," Powell said darkly.
But apart from all that, this is a breath of fresh river air. A fun listen and a nice change of pace. Oh, and this is just a fun detail. The expedition guys mistake the Doctor and Peri for a married couple of Mormons.
"We were just wondering how we could go after it when you providentially appeared." "Providentially?" The youngest member of the group grinned. "Oh, you're Mormons," he guessed. "On your way to your settlement on the Great Salt Lake?" He looked puzzled. "Don't you folks usually travel in packs?" "We got separated," the Doctor replied, quickly seizing on what sounded like a reasonable subterfuge.
So try to get that image out of your head. Anyway, time to tell you what's best and what's worst, and I don't think I'll surprise anyone if I say that Widow's Assassin is the best, and Source of the Seven Seas was by far the worst. I realise I usually give the best and worst to a full release, not an individual story, but I really hated Source of the Seven Seas. And as for where to get these cheaply, probably luck, or theft, or waiting a long time. These are mostly new and therefore pricey as hell. Though the initial main range older Peri trilogy might be old enough to find for a decent price, outside of a sale and Big Finish. Anyway, if you enjoyed this, please give me a like, a sub, hit some sort of bell, and tell me how much you agree with me, or disagree, or just tell me what I'm doing wrong. YouTube likes it when you feed the algorithm beast. And if you'd like to help me afford more Big Finish to keep doing this sort of thing, please consider dropping a super thanks, or signing up for the Patreon. There's even rewards to be had. If you've only got a few coppers, I've got a Ko-fi, and if you want a badass shirt, check out the Redbubble. Or just keep watching and being fantastic.
One world's very like another. Even Earth's got mysteries to uncover. It's a mob, it's a riot, they're causing a commotion. Gotta help George Stevenson do the locomotion. What do you mean? You meet one amoral renegade time lady.
That's me, am I okay? Gonna end up in an Ambergone souffle.
This pains me to say aloud, but I'm dripping sweat from my noble brow.
But it wasn't simply a red hue. There were bands of orange, of violet that strayed into purple, and of grey. Even the brown was a rich chocolate colour. It was as if some slightly crazed deity had ripped a rainbow from the sky and dragged it through the earth. Peri grinned and called ahead. "I think your tailor's been here."